At 4 in today's Community Focus, severe storms wiped out power for thousands the night before the 4th of July, and some technical issues left them in the dark about when it would come back on. Joining me now is the president of Rhode Island Energy, Greg Cornett. Thanks so much for being here.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So let's start here. Where do the restoration efforts stand right now? How many people are still without power?
We're finished with restoration in terms of those that couldn't be, anybody that could be restored has been restored. We have a few customers still that needed to get their electrician out to do some stuff on their side. But we restored everybody that could be restored by noon yesterday. We actually had 95% of our customers back online Saturday afternoon.
That's great. And you know, I think one of the big things with this storm, we know Rhode Island Energy was working really hard to get the electricity back on, but people were sort of tearing their hair out because they weren't sure when it was going to come back on. The outage map at one point was blank. It wasn't working. People were trying to text, and that system wasn't working either. What happened? Because we've seen a fair share of issues with your IT systems. The new website didn't go so well. Is it time to get a new vendor?
Yeah. Well, we're looking at all of those issues, trust me. So we rolled out, we moved over from National Grid and put our own systems in place back in August of last year, and we've had some challenges. These were not related. This is a different vendor, different issue. You know, what we know at this point, and we're still diving into it very hard, but we were able to get the site back up on Saturday evening, about 9 o'clock, I think. What we know so far is that our outage management system, which is the fundamental base of that outage mapping and the texting, was improperly routing outage calls to different databases within our system. And as the map tried to refresh and reload and was going to those databases, it was not getting correct information, which resulted in it being incorrect for a number of hours, which we absolutely understand was unacceptable. Unacceptable to me, unacceptable to our customers.
And what about the text message system?
Really tied into the same issue. So it fundamentally feeds off of that same platform, and that created the same issues with the texting as well.
We heard from the governor over the weekend. He used the same word you just did, unacceptable. Did you speak with him? What did he have to say?
I've spoken to him several times and to his administration multiple times. He conveyed what he conveyed publicly, that it's unacceptable. I agree with him. He is not wrong. It's something that we fixed as quickly as we could, and that at this point the focus is on making sure we do not ever have a repeat of that going forward.
So you guys are looking into it and trying to fix all of those issues.
Yeah, I think we think we fixed the issues, but we're doing a deep dive to get down to the very core root cause of what that failure was, working with the vendor to make sure that we have complete confidence. I've got to have confidence. Our customers have to have confidence. The governor, everybody wants confidence that when we have another storm, small or big, this system is going to work the way it's intended to work. Let's
talk about the outages themselves. Is this just something that's going to happen every time we have severe wind like this, or is there a way that we can try and prevent these in the future?
Really great question. And you know, this was a unique event in the terms of we weren't seeing so many just branches falling off or blowing off. What we were seeing was massive trees being uprooted. There's not a lot we can do there. We have an aggressive vegetation management program. We worked really closely with legislators last session and got a new law in place that we've been working through. That's working really well. That's helped decrease those sort of more blue sky outages where a limb falls down. There's not a ton we can do with the kinds of wind that we had here. We had trees that took out 5 and 6 spans, so it's just going to happen. But we do plenty of things in beyond the vegetation management. One of the things that I would point out is we've been installing reclosers or smart switches over the last couple of years that allow us to sectionalize parts of our line and restore customers quickly. I've asked the team to give me numbers on how that worked this storm, but I know from just smaller storms over the last couple of months, in some instances, we've been able to avoid a 2-hour outage for 500, 600, 700 customers and get them restored within a couple of minutes because we've spent the money to put those switches on. So we're continuing to modernize and invest in the grid to keep those outages as minimal as we can.
All right, Greg Cornett, the president of Rhode Island Energy. That's all the time that we have, but thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.